My question is, the January 6th still stays in the news. Obviously, you have the committee that's investigating it. Liz Cheney's had some very harsh words for her fellow Republicans. So my question to you is, do you think it was just a simple political protest? You're a reasonable person. What do you think objectively is the best way to handle this? And what's best for the country moving forward when it comes to dealing with January 6th?
I think it was far more than just a peaceful, legitimate protest. I think it was a violent assault, and it was something that needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I think that's the way forward, is to hold these violent perpetrators accountable. The fact that they assaulted the Capitol, I mean, that was a horrific day for our country and for democracy, and there's no sugarcoating that. I think that, though, when it comes to very specific legal, because again, we are a system of laws, and until we respect and maintain the rule of law, we won't be any different than any other country. But there's a reason that immigrants, millions of people, want to come here, is because we respect the rule of law. So what happened on January 6th was a rejection of the rule of law with this mob. And so I think that was vile, and they need to be held accountable. That said, in terms of trying to tar and feather any conservative who had questions or wanted to vote against the certification, there is a legal constitutional process to legally challenge this that is outlined by our forefathers. So I reject any efforts to try to connect those two, because what they were doing in the Capitol, the members of Congress, and also the many, many people who were peaceful protesters. In fact, I talked about this that morning. I had 3 of my cousins who were in town, or 2 of my cousins and a spouse. They came to town to support January 6th. And they had nothing to do with violence. They had nothing. They had no idea that was going to happen. If they had known, they probably wouldn't have come. So to tar and feather my cousins, who are kind, loving, just some of the best people that you will ever meet, Dave, and any of our viewers, to try to say that, lump everyone together, that's just not nuanced. And I don't think that, a movement should be judged by its worst day. None of us want to be judged by our worst day, or by our worst people. On the left, there was a violent mob who showed up at the White House at multiple occasions. There was a time when I felt, as a journalist covering the Trump White House, where my physical safety was at risk. And I'm not going to judge Black Lives Matter protesters or left protesters by their worst day. I believe in redemption, and I think that's how we move forward.
Yes, but again, that's a bit of a false equivalency, in the sense that people can show out. People have been showing up outside buildings for a long time. They've never penetrated and gone in there. And Steve Bannon, the day before, said, "Oh, this is going to be something like you've never seen." So it wasn't as if a lot of these people knew. Now, there were a lot of people, probably like your nice relatives, who weren't the Proud Boys or Oath Keepers or any of those organizations, but they knew exactly what they were doing.